The following episode of Dad vs. Daughter was made possible by a contribution from Portal Games.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad, and today I am without Megan, another instance where I have the house to myself. So I'm going to be doing a solo play of Legacy, the Testament of Duke de Crecy, using the Five Families expansion. Now, I'm not going to get into the rules of the solo play of Legacy since I've already done a video on that. So if you have not watched that, I encourage you to stop this video and go watch that, because then this one will make a lot more sense. What I am going to be doing is covering what the Five Families expansion adds to the game. It doesn't change it significantly, but it does have the influence of the Five Families. So let's talk about that. Okay, what the Five Families expansion adds to the solo play, you still use the Testament variant like you do in the base game of Legacy, but what this adds is, this is called a daisy track. And what we're going to do, we have a stack of five great house cards, and each one of these represents one of the five families that the expansion is based off of. What we're going to do is during certain turns of the game, we're going to flip one of these over, and that will show us which family is influencing us for that time being. So in this case, it is the Sage family. And what this tells us is that when we do actions that they are in favor of, we're going to be able to move this token in a positive way on this daisy track. Conversely, if we do things that the family objects to during that time period, then we are going to go into the negative area on the daisy track. And that is, obviously bad things. So let's talk about this a little bit more. If we get all the way over here to -2 on the track, and I'll point out that you can never go past that, so you would always stop at the ends. So if we get onto this, we're going to lose 5 prestige points, or excuse me, honor points, and at the beginning of the next round, take one random additional action pawn and block a corresponding action. So, we don't want that to happen. If we have a -1 on the daisy track, we're going to lose one of the face-up friend cards. If we stay at 0, we're going to lose an honor point, and that just tells us that we're going to reset the daisy track at the beginning of each of the new turns that the house cards come up. If we're on the 1, we're going to get a +1 honor point. If we are on the 2, we're going to get 3 gold and an honor point. And if we make it all the way to 3, it says you may take the Who Were They action without using a pawn, without paying action cost, with the friend card from your hand. So that would be a really good thing. So we want to try to do what the influencing family is in favor of and stay away from the things that they object to. So here we have the main player board, and you'll notice that I've added the blue tokens on the 1st, 4th, and 7th spots on the board. That's because that is a reminder for me to flip over a new great house card on that turn. And I used blue since that was an unused player color, and that way I'll remember to do that. Everything else plays identically to the base game. So now that you've seen the little additions, let's get to playing. So I have the game already set up. You'll remember with Patrick, we start with 5 friend cards. We start with 1 income and 9 money. So we've already got it set up. We've got Patrick here, who represents me. We have Lawrence and Angelique, who represent my parents. And then we have placeholders for their parents as well. Because remember, what we're trying to do is figure out who is who in our family. So with this being turn 1, the first thing we do is we will draw 3 hint cards from age 1 to figure out what we're going to be doing. This says, one of your grandfathers had a venture. One of your mother's ancestors was this nationality, which I think is Spanish, if I remember right. And this one says, one of your grandmothers contributed to the community by holding a big reception, either a feast, banquet, or grand ball. So remember, we get a prestige point for each one of those that we complete. Okay, so we've got our hint cards. Now the first thing we need to do, or the second thing we need to do, is take the top one of the Great House cards and flip it over and find out which house is going to be influencing us this round. Okay, so our Great House card that is going to be influencing us this first round, actually until round 4, is the Jolie family. So they are in favor of marrying an artist, buying a mansion, and taking the whom did they know action. They object to marrying an aristocrat, initiating a venture, how wealthy were they, and marrying a friend with an action pawn as a special effect. So those are the things we want to try to avoid if possible. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to go ahead and place that right above me so that I remember to do those actions. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, I'm looking at my friends and I don't see any that are an artist. So I think what I will do is I will just go ahead and place my token and do the who were they action on my board. And I see over here in my friends that I have Armand. And I think in my playthrough of the base game, Armand was also Lauren's father. So I will take that action there and I will pay 3 money. So pay 4 and get 1 and change back. And I'm going to be able to increase my income. So I'm up to 2 there. I'm going to get a prestige point. So I will increase that up to 1. And it says I may decrease my income to gain 1 prestige point, which I'm not going to do. So now let's see what else we have. Are there any? There are friends up in the display that is an artist, but I'm not really going to worry about that right at the moment. Okay, one of my grandfathers had a venture, but the Jolie family, they do not like ventures. Looking at my friends, I don't have a Spanish person in my family at this time. And the Jolie family, let's see, who did they know? They like the who did they know. So I'm going to take that action over here, whoops, on my player board, do the who did they know. I'm going to pay 2 to get 3 friend cards. So I'll get some money back there and let's look at who our friends are. So I know that I want to get an artist at some point. What else do I need? Actually, there's nothing else up there. I don't want really the aristocrat. I do want someone who is Spanish, and there's no Spanish up there. So I think what I'll do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to take these 2 here because they're both British and they're both authors. So we'll see if that helps. So we'll take those. Okay, so that ends my first turn. So I will retrieve my action tokens off of my player board. And since that is the end of the first round, and I know you can't see this, but on the player board, I'm moving my marker to the income phase. So since I have 2 income on my board, I'll get 2 money. So there's 2 money. And we move on to round 2. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to concentrate on getting one of your grandmothers contributed to the community by holding a big reception. So there is a feast there that will cost me 3. So I think I'm going to go ahead and take that action. So I'll choose what have they left behind. I'll take the feast, which is going to cost me 3 money, but I'm going to get 4 honor points and a face down friend card. So let's go ahead and give myself 4 honor points. So that moves me to 4. And last time, my grandmother or my mother's family didn't really do anything. So you know what? I'm going to put that feast over here on that mother's card or that grandmother's card. And I'll take a face down friend card. And I get Jacoba, which is not going to help. So I'm just going to put that over there. So that I have 1 action left. This does complete this hint card. So I will get to move up 1 point on the prestige track. And I'll just put this aside to show that I've completed it. So I still need to get a Spanish person in my deck, so, or in my family. So I think again I'm going to take the who did they know action on my board, and I'm going to pay the 2 money, and that way I can get 3 friend cards. So there's 2 left here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take these 2. I don't really need them. I just need to get them out of the way to get some new cards up here. And I'm going to be able to get 1 more. And wouldn't you know it, they're mostly French. We got French and 1 English person. So since I do have an English couple in my friend hand, or my hand of friend cards, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take Mary Ann there. So that gives me those 3 cards. So that is the end of round 2. So I will go ahead and retrieve my action tokens, and we will move on to the money phase. So I will get 2 income. And then we do the honor to prestige. So I have 2 prestige points here on my track. So I will give myself 2 more honor, which takes me up to 6. Okay, so starting the second generation here, the first thing you notice is we take the an action token. So I'll take 1 of each here. Give this a good shake. And drop 1. Whoops, the one I dropped is yellow. So as well as messing up all the cards here. We also get new hint cards. So we'll take Generation 2's hint cards. Our first hint card for Generation 2 is, there was a Russian in your family who had a title. A parent of one of your grandfathers was connected to the city hall, had the title of patron of Paris or city mayor, or contributed to the community by visiting the mayor. And then we also have the parents of one of your grandfathers were a scientist and author couple. So we've kind of got our work cut out for us. One of the bad things is we've kind of let things pile up a little bit. So we also need to go ahead and put down the second generation titles and contributions. So I'm doing this off camera. We have, they're all the same each time. So one of the things I've already forgotten to do was when I took the who did they know action, which I've done twice now, is I need to move the daisy track. So since I've taken it twice, I will move that over to the second spot there. One of the other things that I did not do when I placed Armand is I should have put placeholders for his parents. So I'm going to move Armand over here. Move him right next to the money. Okay, so the parents of one of your grandfathers was a scientist and author couple. I'm looking at my friend cards, and I actually do have a scientist friend card. So I think what I'm going to do is I will take the who were they action, and I am going to use Mary Ann, not Ginger. Mary Ann is the botanist's daughter, so she will give me 1 coin because of the dowry that she is bringing. I am going to gain the blue action token if I have another Brit in my family, which unfortunately at this point I do not. But I will get a face-up friend card and a prestige point. So move the prestige track to 3. I will get a face-up friend card, and let's just go ahead and grab, we'll take Roger up here. We'll put Roger in our friend pile. Okay, so Mary Ann is going to be Armand's mother, so she will be our grandmother, and you can see where she's at up there. So I'm halfway to that one. Let's go ahead and I do have an author. I have John. He's the bankrupted lord, and he's British. So I'm going to go ahead and I will take this who were they action again. Put that on my player board there. You can see that. And he will be Armand's father. Now you'll notice that I have, whoops. So now you'll notice that I actually have a British couple that had a French son. That's going to cost me a point at the end of the game, but that's okay because we're going to get points here in a minute and fulfill one of the hint cards. So John actually cost me 2 money, so for the wedding, and he's going to give me +1 honor point for each other artist, or excuse me, each other author in my family. I don't have any other authors in my family, so I'm not going to get anything there, but he will give me a prestige point. So got that going for me, which is nice. So that also takes care of this hint card here. So the parents of one of your grandfathers were a scientist and author couple. So Armand is my grandfather. His parents are an author and a scientist. So that will give me another prestige point, taking me up to 5. And I'll just toss this one out of the way. So now we have gotten rid of 2 of the hint cards. And I could go ahead and take this action because I need to complete this. So we have the City Mayor, Patron of Paris, and the Marquis as titles. Patron of Paris is going to cost us a income, or an income, but it's also going to give us a friend card. The City Mayor cost us a face-up friend card, but it will give us 2 other ones. So I kind of like the City Mayor bit. So I think what I will do is I will use the special token, and I'm going to take that title. So I'll do, what title did they have? And I will take City Mayor. So that will cost me 3. So there's my 3 that I'll put into the bank. I will get 2 face down friend cards, and still did not get any Spanish. So still does not help. I will get 2 prestige points, and I have to lose one of the face-up friend cards here. Actually, that's a friend card for my hand, so I don't lose those. So I have a ton of friend cards in my hand. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to get rid of Nadine because the Jolie family does not like aristocrats. So I'm just going to discard her, put her over there. And since I did complete this, I'm going to give that to it says one of my grandfathers. So I'm just going to make John. So looking at this, yes, I need a title, but I also need a Russian in my family who has a title. So I cannot give that to John. What I will do is I'm going to give that to this grandfather over here. And he needs to be Russian. So I am out of actions. So I will bring my action tokens back. I get rid of the yellow since it was a one-time use. We move on to the income round of the 3rd round. So I'm going to get 2 money. And now that we are at the end of the 3rd round, we actually get rid of the Great House card and we resolve the Daisy track. So the Jolie family is gone. The Daisy track was on 2, so we're actually going to get 3 money, which is good because we were getting low on funds. And we're going to get 1 honor point, taking us up to 7. So we have this little reminder to reset the Daisy track back to 0, and we will pick up a new family. Okay, so to start the 4th round off, our new family that is going to be influencing us is the Sage family. They are in favor of marrying a scientist, hiring a fertility doctor, and contributing to the community. They object to marrying an artist, buying a mansion, and taking the who did they know action and how wealthy were they actions. So we'll see how that plays into this round, or this series of rounds here. So moving on, we want to go ahead and well, we already did this one. That was resolved. I forgot to throw that one away. Okay, so let's look at our friend cards and see if we have any Russians, which I know we do. We've got good old Vasily here, the Cossack, and I think he is the only Russian that we have. Whoops. Yep, he is our only Russian. He will cost us 3, so he is going to, or we'll take the who are they action on our player board, and he will become the city mayor there. And now that resolves this hint card that says there was a Russian in our family who had a title. So that will give us another prestige point. So we move up to 7. We'll get rid of that hint card. So now we still need to have a venture and a Spanish person. So we can take the venture. It will cost us 2 cards and an honor point. So let's just go ahead and do that. So I'll take the venture there. That's going to cost me 2 friend cards, which, looking at my hand, I have just so many French cards. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of, well, let's see. I might want to keep him. Let's get rid of, we're going to get rid of these 2 guys. So we'll discard those, and we actually lose an honor point. That takes us back down to 6. But we are going to get an extra income for our venture. That takes our income up to 3. And you know what? Let's just go ahead and let's give Armand that venture. So that completes this hint card. So we'll get rid of that. And we will move up 1 on the prestige track there to 8. So now the only thing we still have left to do is to, one of my mother's ancestors was Spanish. So let's see, the Sage family does not like Who Did They Know? So I think we're going to hold off on trying to get that Spanish person for a little bit, although that is our last thing that we need to do. But we are at the end of our turn. So let's go ahead and bring our action tokens back. And we will move on to the income phase of round 4. Our income is at 3. Get 3 money there. And I don't think I paid, did I pay? I don't think I paid for Vlassi. So I did already have more money anyway, so there's the 3 that I owed for him, just to make sure. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Now, we move on to phase, or turn 5 of the second generation, which is the last of the second generation turns. I don't have any Spanish friends. Like I said, I've got a lot of French friends. I'm gonna have to go ahead and do the Who Did They Know action. So since there are 3 cards in the friends display, I'm only going to pay 1 to grab 2, because you may remember the rule, there can never be only 1 left. If there is, you get it for free. So I'm going to pay 1 to the bank. I get to take 2, and I get that one for free. Don't really want any of them, but I need new cards up here. So let's see what we get. Why all the French? Hey, there we go. There's Carlos. Carlos is Spanish. He's also an artist, which the Sage family does not like. And since we did take an action that they don't like, we have to move down on the daisy track. So we are going to move over here to the -1 spot on the daisy track. I really want to avoid going into that negative part there. What else can the Sage family, do they like? They like marrying a scientist. They like hiring a fertility doctor, which that usually comes up a lot in the 3rd generation hint cards, is you need more children. And speaking of more children, one of the things that I forgot to do was over here when John and Marianne got married, then they should have gotten a baby card. So we will give them, they had a girl. So old Armand here had a sister. So I'm looking through my friend cards here to see if I have any other scientists. Actually, I do. I have Claire. So I think I've got 1 action left. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take that Who Were They action over here on my board. And Claire is going to marry Vasily. So she's actually going to give me 3 money for a dowry. I'll take that from the bank. So Claire was the one who threw the feast. Good old Claire. Okay, she's going to give me a face-up friend card. So you know what? I'm going to grab Carlos there because I know that I need a Spanish member in my family. So thank you, Claire, for your special action. And her other ability is this generation, each time you socialize, take one more friend card. All right, and since they got married, they get a kid, and they got a boy. So Angelique had a brother. And we also need to put placeholders out for their parents, and also over here on the other side of the family. Okay, so this is a pretty even game. If you remember from watching the last video, it was pretty much everything was over here on my father's side of the family, and mom's side of the family really didn't have anything going on for him. So that is the end of my turn. I'll take my action tokens back, and we will move on to the income part of round 5, which I'm still at 3, so I'll get 3 money there. And we will also move up on the honor track. So I am at 8 prestige points. So I'll move up 8. I'm at 6, so that puts me up to 14. We will start the 3rd generation. So once again, I will take one of each of the additional action tokens here, give them a good shake, and drop 1. I get the red. Not really sure that I wanted the red. The red is the what connections did they make? And since we are starting the 3rd generation, we need to see what our hint cards are for this generation. We have, there were at least 3 craftsmen on your father's side of the family, which I don't have any craftsmen, so I'm going to have to get working on that. What else we have? One of your grandmothers was the daughter of an aristocrat who had a title. Wow, okay. And one of your great-grandfathers had 3 children, one of which was an author and another married to a Prussian. This is a killer. I think I've lost most of my games because of a card like that, or that particular card. So we really have our work cut out for us. This is going to be really tough. I'm not going to lie to you. So let's see what we want to do here. We're still under the influence of the Sage family, at least until the next turn. So you know what? I think I'll do this. I'm going to take the Who Were They action, and it doesn't cost me anything for Carlos. He is the local Don Juan. I'm going to make him my grandmother's father. So he will go right there. Get rid of that placeholder. I will get a prestige point, which takes me up to 9. And I gain the green action token and 1 honor point if I have another artist in my family. I don't have any other artists in my family, so that's not going to get me anything. But what that does do is I have completed this hint card, so I can go ahead and get rid of that, and I will move up to 10 on my prestige track. One of my grandmothers, so Mary Ann over here is my grandmother. I'm going to go ahead and I'll take that Who Were They action again, and Roger will be Mary Ann's father. That's going to cost me 6. Fortunately, I have 6, so there's 6. But Roger is going to give me an additional 2 income, so that moves me up to 5. He's going to give me 2 prestige points, which is going to take me to 12. And this generation, each time you have to take a friend card, I can instead draw one from the top of the deck. So that's not too bad. I do need to get Roger a title. And so let's concentrate on that this next round. So let's go ahead and take our action tokens back. We will move on to the income phase, and I'm now at 5 income, so I'll get 5 money. Also, since we are at the end of the 6th round, we already did our money, but what we do is we resolve the daisy track. So I have to lose 1 friend card from my hand because I was at -1. So let's just go ahead and let's get rid of Nancy. She is the sailor's daughter. So we'll get rid of her. And since we are resolving that, we move this back to 0 on the daisy track there. So the daisy track is set back to 0, and we are ready to start the 7th round. Okay, so we know that Roger here needs a title. So let's go ahead and, since we are resetting that, before I forget, we are done with the Sage family, and we have to draw a new family here. And this is the Travaux family. They are in favor of marrying a craftsman, which is good because we need craftsmen, marrying a friend with +2 income, initiating a venture, and marrying a friend with a dowry of 1 or higher. They object to marrying scientist and marrying a friend with a wedding cost of 5 or more, and contributions to the community. They don't like contributions for some reason. So maybe because they're the ones making all the contributions. Okay, so let's look and see what we want to do. We know Roger here needs a title, so let's go ahead and we're going to go ahead and take that. What title did they have? And I think we're going to go ahead and take the King's Advisor. That's going to cost us 7 money. It's going to cost us 3 friend cards, but we're going to get to draw 2 off the top of the friend deck, and we're going to get 5 prestige points. So I think that's pretty good. So we're going to go ahead, we'll give that to Roger. So let's go ahead and we'll pay the 7. So here's the 7, pay that to the bank. And we've got to lose 3 friend cards. So let's just lose these 3. We're going to get 2 friend cards. So we get Femi, the tulip trader, and Gertrude, the heiress of the great library. So we'll put those in our hand. And we get 5 prestige points. So we're going to go from 12 to 17. And Roger, you get to be the King's Advisor. Okay. So that was our first action. Second action is, well, here, we've resolved this hint card. So one of my grandmothers, which Mary Ann was one of my grandmothers. Yes, she is my great-grandmother, but a great-grandmother is a grandmother. One of my grandmothers was the daughter of an aristocrat who had a title. Roger is an aristocrat who has a title. So we'll complete that one, and that moves us to 18. Okay, so we have, let's see, did doing the title do anything to the Travaux family? No, they are all about marrying. Okay, so we still need to have one of your great-grandfathers had 3 children, which it's looking like John is probably, well, actually either one could do it. Nothing there is helping out that much. Married to a Prussian. I do have a couple of Prussians, but I do need some craftsmen. Let's take the who were they action, and let's use old Chantal here. Chantal will go there. No dowry. Let's see. They object to marrying a friend with a wedding cost of 5. And what do they like? They are in favor of marrying a friend with income and marrying a friend with a dowry of 2 or higher. So nothing there. So that was that action for Chantal. She is going to give me +1 for each other craftsman in my family. Now, I covered this in the first playthrough I did, the solo play of Legacy, which I was not counting Laurent, Angelique, or Patrick's occupation, since those are always the same. So I will do this. I will count Armand, because he was a friend that we put into the family. So I'm going to get +1 for each other craftsman in my family. So I'm going to get 1 money for Armand, and I will get 2 friend cards. So I know I need craftsmen. Actually, we have a lot of craftsmen up there. So let's go ahead and let's just take 1 of each. Let's take Bernadette and Nicholas. So that is, we'll add those to our hand. And that is all of the actions we have. You know what? I think I will go ahead and do the contribution cards. Just see what it might give us. Okay, so taking what connections did they make? I have to give up a friend card from my hand. let's just go ahead and let's get rid of Anne. So sorry, Anne. And we have spreading French culture, which says the requirements have at least 2 Russians in your family. Or actually, I guess that's French. No, that's Russian. So why is that spreading French culture? You make a concerted effort to spread French culture in Russia. Okay, that's why. So have at least 2 Russians in your family. Pay 2 money to the bank, and the reward is 5 honor points. We'll just put the spreading French culture card there. I only have 1 Russian in my family. I don't think I have any other Russian cards in my hand, so we may not get to that one. So that is the end of all of our actions. So we will bring our action tokens back. The red one for that goes away. And we move on to the income round of round 7. So I am at 5. I'm going to get 5 money. And now we are on turn 8. We know we need another child here, really, or a child over there as well. Let's just go ahead and let's try to get a child here. So let's do the how big was my family action. We will draw off the top of the baby duck, and we get another boy. So we will put that boy there. Let's go ahead. Do we want to do the who were they? You know we do. Let's do this. Let's do the who were they action, and let's make that person Nicholas. So Nicholas is going to cost us 1, so we pay 1 to the bank. And Nicholas is going to increase our income, so we're at 6. We lose a prestige point, so that knocks us back down to 17. It says gain the orange token and 1 honor point if you have another craftsman in my family, which I do. So we're going to get that. We're going to get this back. Don't know that we're necessarily going to do a venture, and we will get an honor point. So that moves us to 15 on the track. I'm doing that off camera there. And that is it. So we will take our tokens, action tokens back. We will move on to the income round of round 8, and we now get 6 money. So we're rolling in the money. I don't think we'll ever need to do that venture to get any more money. And now we move on to the last round, round 9 here. So this is really going to be tough. I don't honestly think we're going to win, although I am looking at this, and we have completed this. There were at least 3 craftsmen on your father's side of the family. There are 3 craftsmen right there, so that will get us that honor point back that we lost, or excuse me, the prestige point that we lost from Nicholas. And we are down to this killer hint. So one of your great-grandfathers had 3 children, one of which was an artist, or excuse me, one of which was an author, and another married to a Prussian. You know what, I think we're going to be able to do this now that I look at this a little closer. So if we take the, let's see, the Trevaux, this is where we kind of got to watch this, what they like. So we need to have, oh no, one of your great-grandfathers had 3 children, one of which was an author. Shoot. We need to have an author over here, and I'm just looking through my hand of friend cards, and I do not have any authors. Oh, drat. So looks like I'm going to lose because I don't have any authors. And there's no way that I'm going to get an author in here. The only way would be to get some friend cards off the top of the deck and hope I draw good, but I don't have any way of doing that. I can get the married to a Prussian. I was thinking, I don't know why, because I've had this card before, that I needed to marry and have an artist. I really messed that up. Okay, so let's just go through the motions here. I do have a Prussian. I can take the who were they action. and I can marry, let's see, is that going to help? Where's my other Prussian? No, he's not going to help either. So Gertrude is going to give me +3 if I have another Prussian in my family, which I do not. And she will give me a prestige point and a friend card. So I will marry her off to Nicholas. Or you know what? I could make her my grandmother, I guess. She could be married to Armand, because that would be one of his children. Let's just do that. Let's make Gertrude our grandmother, married to Armand. So she's going to give us 1 money. And let's check the Treveau family. They don't like it when you marry somebody that has a wedding cost of 5. Marrying with a friend with a 2 or higher. They like that. Okay, so no effect there. I will get a friend card, which since there's only 2 left, I get one and I get the other one for free. Neither are authors, so those don't help. But we do get to flip over new cards. So the new friends we have, oh, there's an author. You know what? I threw away a bunch of authors. I should have made sure that I kept one. That was my fault. So Leonid here, the foreign deputy, and when he's Russian too, that would kind of help the French culture part. But unfortunately, I do not get anything. I would have to take another action in order to get him, and I'm going to be out of actions. Do I have anything that would give me anything else? It does not look like it. So let's just go ahead and we'll play this out. I need that author, which I am not going to have. All right, so I kind of hosed myself there by not keeping at least one author around. So I'll do the who did they know? I will not pay anything. I will get one friend who is Leonid, the author. The only other thing I can do would be to take a venture, and that's just going to cost me an honor point if I do that. So I am out of turns at this point. So let's just go ahead. I've lost. We'll go ahead and we will do the honor points here. I have 18 on my player board. So I will add 18 to 15 is going to be 33. So there's right there. Now we move on to the special scoring. I did not fulfill this hint card here. So that will actually that cost me how many points? I lose an honor point for each unfulfilled hint card. So that's going to cost me 1 point. So that moves me back to 32. So we're going to lose 1 honor point for each non-French descendant whose nationality matches none of their parents. So right here we have the children of John and Mary, who were British, have 3 French children. So we're going to lose 3 points there. We don't know the parents of John. We don't know Marianne's mother. We don't know Vasily's parents, nor Claire's mother. So we're going to lose 3 points. So that drops us from 32 to 29. We're going to gain 1 honor point for each aristocrat descendant that has a parent with a craftsman occupation. Well, the only aristocrat we have is Roger, and we didn't put the placeholders out, but we don't know who his parents are, so we're not going to get any points there. We lose 1 honor point for each craftsman descendant that has a parent with an aristocrat. And we do not there, because the only craftsmen we have to worry about are these 3. So nothing there. We lose 1 honor point for each unfulfilled hint card, which we already did. And we also resolved the daisy track over here. We are at 0, so we will lose 1 honor point there. We end up with a score of 28 in a losing effort. So since this is a solo play and I lost, there will be no trophy presentation, because I really wasn't playing against anybody, so I can't give the bad people a trophy like in a co-op game. But what we can do is get to what I think of this solo play. Okay, I think this is a really good expansion. I'm not going to talk about the multiplayer aspect of that because, as you can see, there are a lot other things that go with the multiplayer one. You've got a board here. This is like a favor board, and you have all these favor tokens. You actually also have a ton of other cards, but like I said, I'm not going to get into that. Just going to talk about the solo play part, and that is basically boils down to how the five families are interacting with you. So here you can see, here's the ones we didn't use: the August family and the Polite family. So there are various ways that that is going to influence the game, no pun intended, because that is what they are doing. They are influencing you while they are in play during that time of the rounds. It does make you do things that you probably would not do, or hold off in trying to do things. You saw that I waited to fulfill that venture. I think it was the venture early on, because the family that was influencing me did not like ventures. So I would have gone on the negative point on the track. I do like the fact that the track resets at the end of each one of those. When you get a new family, the track resets there. I think they are game changers. So if you've played the base game a lot solo, I think you really are going to like this Five Families expansion because it will add that extra depth to what you've already been playing. Gives you a little bit more things that are going to influence your decision. I think that Portal Games did a really good job of having this new influence in there, because I don't know really how else you would change it. You can add new friend cards that are going to do different things, maybe add different titles or contribution cards instead of just having the same static three. More hint cards would have also been good, but those could be for future expansions too. I'm not really sure what their plans are. So Ignacy, if you're watching this, then there's my suggestions for the next expansion. But overall, this is really good. I think, like I said, if you've played the solo version a lot with just the base game, then by all means, go out and get the Five Families expansion. I think you'll really like it. I'm really looking forward to playing the multiplayer part with Megan. Unfortunately, she still has not been able to play the base game yet with me. So, we'll do that first, and then we'll do another show on the Five Families. But I've played the base game several times now with my gaming group, and it's a lot of fun. It's a very different sort of game, and it's not going to be for all people probably. We kind of joked that it seemed like here's a bunch of guys sitting around playing a game about creating your family tree. Not really the most masculine of activities. But it's a fun game. Everybody that's played it so far has been very interested in it. They like the dynamics of it, and I think that the Five Families expansion, it adds more player interaction. So you're trying to get people, to take family members that you have and put them in their family, and in return, they're going to grant you favors, somewhere down the line. So I'm really looking forward to doing that. So that is Legacy, the Testament of Duke de Crecy, Five Families expansion. We will catch you guys next time.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.